Melissa is the Western women's world record holder for Everest summits. She's
5. Thank you.
She's 31 years old and has accomplished what most people only dream of. She's been working internationally since 2004 and has stood on the top of many of the world's most stunning peaks. Melissa has made her life about exploring the beautiful mountains of the world. She's passionate about climbing and pushing her own limits, but her ultimate joy comes from taking that journey with others and helping them push their limits and get to their own summit. With safety as her driving ethic behind every adventure she embarks on, Melissa's made her mark as a caring guide and passionate adventurer. Some of her climbs have been to the summits of Mount Everest 5 times, more times than any other woman, Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Rainier 93 times, and Mount McKinley. Wow. So I feel really lucky because I stumbled across Melissa actually when I was speaking to her publicist about somebody else, and she said, would you be interested in talking to Melissa for your women's event? I said, tell me more. Well, so take us back a little bit. I mean, why do you climb mountains?
I like to walk uphill slowly.
Like, how did this start? How did it start?
Yeah. So I graduated college early from the University of Iowa when I was 19 and have a business degree, and I was working for Procter & Gamble writing ads. And I just went back to Montana, where I'm from, to visit some friends, and one of them took me out hiking, and I literally just stood on the summit of my first peak and looked out, and I saw all the opportunity in the world. And I thought, you know what, if I pursue this, I can do anything. I can travel everywhere I want to, I can learn, I can challenge myself, and I can teach other people. And I quit my job, packed everything in the back of my truck, lived out of the back of my truck for multiple years, and just traveled around learning more and more about the sport and tried to become a professional guide and was successful being able to do that. That kind of, it sounds so simple when I say it like that. It's like I just decided one day, but for me that was hugely what it was. And you know, I think I also, it's hearing these conversations about women being the minority, and I definitely understand that because I am the only female guide that works on Everest, and I spend all of my time with all men. And one of the things that was hardest for me, because I was very young when I started, I was 20 when I started guiding, and my clients are 55-year-old professional men, typically. That's my most standard client, and I had to convince them that, like, I'm not an intern, you know, I am actually...
She walked in this morning, I'm like, you could either be my speaker or you could be somebody's intern, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, the only way I can do that, and I can get attention by being a young, cute girl, but I can't get respect that way, and respect was much more important to me, and so I knew that I could get opportunities by being a young, cute girl, but I would have to do something else to keep those opportunities. And I've been guiding now for 11 years. And I've always said you can go anywhere and do anything one time because of luck or because of, you know, somebody says, oh, you're the right fit for this. But to do it again and again, there has to be something more. And I don't want to question my own self and wonder, like, did somebody hire me because they thought I was cute and fun? Because I don't want to deal with that, so I just be the best I can at my job, and then I don't have to ask those questions to myself. The competitiveness with my peers is intense, and I think...
Is it?
Very, yeah. The men that I work with, which, I mean, I literally work with all men. There's 1 or 2 other female guides in the world that I work with, none on Everest. And I think when I first started out, the men were kind of, like, dismissive to me. Of, oh, you'll stay for a couple years and do this, and then you'll be gone. And then it transitioned as I was making a place and a space for myself to, like, okay, well, you're here, and now you're getting opportunities that are mine. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep getting those. And now it's this thing of, like, how do you, I mean, I literally am getting guys coming to me and saying, how have you been able to, you know, procure these sponsorships, and how are you doing these speaking things, and how are you getting this press? You know, I'm interested in that. We do the same thing. I'm like, well, we don't really do the same thing, but it is similar. And that's true. It's like I've had to work really hard and find my own path and figure it all out. And, you know, back when I was 20, all you guys were like, oh, you cute little girl. You'll stay around for a few years. And now you're like, how can you be here still? And
When you were 20 and you saw that attitude, was that like, maybe they're right, or was it like, screw you, I'm going to prove you wrong, or like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, it's hard to say exactly what it was. I just didn't ever think that that was going to be the truth. And I don't think I was like defiant about it, like, I'll prove you wrong. But I just thought, I have not been able to understand why being a woman would limit me in this industry. And until I can see that, like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Is it, Helen talked about fear. I have an essay that I wrote about fear that I share with some employees when they're having a tough time. It's just, fear is something that is part of life, but I have to think that when you're climbing Everest, fear is just with you all the time.
You know, it's really interesting. I was thinking about it when she said that because I was thinking about this trip I was just on, and the two people that I was with, they're much less experienced than I am, but we were in a very, very remote area where rescue of any sort was an impossibility. And so everything we did had to be very measured and calculated. You can't have a fall and break your leg because that could result in your death. And there's not very many places in the world that are truly like that anymore, where you can't be rescued. But where we were was one of those places. And one of my teammates was asking me about, do you feel like we're in danger? We were stuck in a storm for multiple days. We had run out of food. It wasn't a great situation. But it was fine. And now I'm in a catered breakfast, so see, it's fine. It worked out.
Great. Fantastic. Anybody here up for a mountain climb?
Yeah, anybody want to go? Come
Raise
come
your
with
hand.
me.
Raise your hand if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll sign you up. I'm interested too.
Come with me. Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing.
Well, not Everest.
It doesn't have to be Everest.
No,
There's lots of places.
Like, give me what's the next? Take me down.
I mean, Mount Rainier is the best
Mount Rainier
place to start.
sounds like
sure.
a great place, and I can survive that. Okay.
Yeah, you can. For sure.
All right, I'm down for that. Fantastic. Well, please join me in thanking Melissa Arnot.
Thank you guys so much.